Hello my friends, today's review is about this Geckota. This is a £499 watch with this setup, £599 with the bracelet. Is it good for that? That's a lot of money. What kind of things are you getting with this? Of course you could go on the website and check the spec and all that to see if it's got a good value for money and all that jazz, but it's not just about what's on paper. How does this watch make you feel? What kind of things does it stir up inside you? That's something that maybe your therapist will help you with. But I am not a therapist, I am a watch reviewer, and we're going to go and do some reviewing. So stick with me and we'll get on with it. See you in a moment. Now before we get into the review, I'm going to blast through the stats and specs. Let's do it. Now before I actually start getting into details about this skin diver from Watch Gecko, Geckota is their brand. A watch strap company set up this micro brand of their own, making their own vast array of watches. They do so many different pieces, and this is one of their more expensive watches, but we're going to go into more detail as to why this is more expensive. Then I was thinking, around the £500, which is what this watch is, what can you get that's a skin diver style watch for around a similar amount of money? I'm going to just blast through a few just so you've got an idea of how competitive it is. This is not an entire list, this is just a taster of how many skin diver style watches there are out there. Let's get on with it. So let's start with a Walbrook skin diver with a Miyota 9000 movement like the one in this one. £525, costs a bit more, but that arguably has an even better specification, but not by much. So a micro brand, very similar price. Then we've got the Dan Henry 1975 called the Skin Diver. Again, you can get it with a Miyota 9000 movement, $450 US. So in pounds, that's going to be a bit less. Then we've got the Satina DSPH 200 Powermatic automatic movement. You can get them in the sales for £545 roughly. Then you've got some micro brand watches. The Fleur, I think that's how you pronounce it, FLX 001. Pre-order that now. That's a Seiko NH38 movement. Little bit more of a generic movement in there, but that's only $449 as well. Good value for money, I think, but I've not seen it to judge, but it looks gorgeous. Then we've got the Accura Skin Diver. A lot of money, but that has also got a Miyota movement, but not the 9000. They do also do a quartz one. Then we've got the Baltic Aquascape, if that's how you say it. Also with a Miyota 9000, double dome sapphire, etc, etc. Gorgeous looking watch, €580. Very similar again in price to this Geckota Ocean Scout. Then we've got the Bulova 98A266 with an 82S0 movement. It's a Miyota movement in there, and you can get them in sale now for £413. I saw it on Amazon, it was easy to find. So again, very competitive. It's a skin diver-esque military style watch, but a little bit of an outsider. Let's get a Seiko in there for around this price point, £400 to £500. I've seen some at £400, some at £450. It's the SNE 585P1, a 38mm, nice petite but very good 200 meter water resistant proper dive watch with a solar quartz movement. There you go. What a blast through there. The first point I'm making is stiff competition out there, guys. You got your £400 to £500, maybe a bit more. Budget, which I'm sure many of you could stretch to 600 if you're really loving a piece. This has a lot of competition. So now we've got that out of the way, let's get on with what I am a little bit critical of this watch. And to be honest, it's not that much. It's going to be an easy blast through. So strap, a little bit thin and scratchy. Thin is good, scratchy and cheap feeling isn't. I think they can offer a lot more options, considering Geckota is a sub-brand of Watch Gecko. Geckota is their watch brand. I think they could do better with what you can get from the store online. That's just my first criticism. Next one is going to be the fact that I would have liked to have seen them do this with acrylic, believe it or not, or Hesselite, just to go with that old school vintage vibe which skin diver watches often are associated with looking like. Then they could have offered this with a more vintage patinaed look colorway, which would have been really nice. Polish sides, a little bit unpleasant in my opinion. It's well done, well executed, but I'd like to have seen more brushing. But then the flip side of that is it helps aid the vintagey, vibey looks of a skin diver style watch. Case back, not bad, little bit boring, but it does have a cool motif on the back, a bit of a Ocean Scout compass style design going on there. But to be honest, case backs I rarely give a monkeys unless it's done something spectacular, and this is just something fairly generic but it's totally fine. And the hand winding motion of a Miyota 9000 is very smooth, very lovely, but sometimes I've just had an ever so slight issue, not an issue with the watch per se, but I can't always get this to wind in first time. I did it this time whilst recording, but occasionally when I've been fiddling around and I want to screw it back in, that sounds extremely dodgy. Talking about watches here, guys. No, it just feels a little bit like it's cross-threaded ever so slightly. Could be user error because I am a bit of a fool and a bit of an idiot sometimes, but minor, ultra minor, tiny snaggy criticism there. Other than that, I am really struggling here. This watch has plucked at my heartstrings. I'm going to now explain why. Again, I'm going to blast through these, otherwise I could waffle on forever, and I know people's attention spans nowadays are extremely poor. Unless you are a regular viewer of mine and you're just going to stick with me. So for that, I thank you. Now, let's get on with the first thing, is the tactility of this bezel. Gorgeous feel, 120 clicks, lovely little pops. I'm going to put it to my mic, listen to this. Lovely, it's just light, it's got the right weight. I love fiddling with bezels, as I do with many things, but this is a good one. Next one, the lume, very good, long lasting, blue BGW9, just what you want on a dive watch, very clear. Talking about dive watches, 200 meters of water resistance. I don't know if it can do that, but I trust this has got plenty of seals in there. For the company as reputable as Geckota to say 200 meters, I actually trust them. So nice amount of water resistance. I love the aluminium bezel insert, adds to the charm, that softness you get with aluminium as opposed to ceramic, which is often glossy. Even if you can get matte ceramic, you still don't get that slightly more old-fashioned charm than that you get with a aluminium insert. I do like that. Coin edge bezel, check this out, this is really cool. Grippy, nice, polished, beautiful. It's got this brushed black element underneath it there, which just breaks up the side of the watch in terms of its design. Really does. Nice detail, not seen that before, really classy. This crown is a lovely size, it's easy to grip, even with these gloves on, which I sometimes fumble about with, and you get the G etched in there, really nice. I love a signed crown as well, it just adds to the branding. I like the branding as well, that's a nice thing. Geckota, where it says Ocean Scout, I can't get any focus, bloody thing. And jumping back, I would have liked a red seconds tip on this lollipop, that would have been nice, but I'm just being extra picky. The slimness, oh, what a joy to have ultra slim watch. Even wear it with a NATO, it is so slim. Perfect. Wears beautifully. I love this movement. Miyota's best in my opinion. Not that I've tried all of them to really know, but in all the ones I've ever had and tried, it's refined, nice and smooth to wind, it's reliable, keeps great time. It's got a really smooth sweep on the seconds hand, which I love. It just adds a bit of class. It's just gracefully gliding around there. It's very quiet as well. You don't really hear or feel the rotor in there, which you can do on the cheaper ones. Dial layout is gorgeous. Traditional 12369. It's the Miyota movement without a ghost date wheel, which is good. It's the one that actually just has the single action on the crown, so you unwind it. One pull, hacking, seconds hand stops, adjust the time, and bosh, back in, away we go again. Nice and easy. And then there's this lovely minute track going around on the inside here. So legible. For a small watch, it reads really beautifully. Plays with the light, very lovely. I do like a matte dial, even though blue is more pretty and glossy. Legibility is key when it comes to watches like this, in my opinion. It's still got that look and that charm of looking like a vintage watch with contemporary specification. This strap is plenty long enough. I have a 7 and a bit inch wrist. Yes, I said wrist. And yeah, this is plenty of tuck back. I'm talking about tucking back as well, which is not good. Filthy imagination. Yes, the tuck back is very good. No adjustable slidey keepers, which you can get on some of their watch straps that they offer from Watch Gecko, but this has plenty of adjustment. The only thing is I occasionally snag it, but to be honest, I barely notice it. So people with large and small wrists will find a fitment so light. I've worn this loads and I barely notice it on my wrist. I'm used to wearing my Seamaster, and that I still think blends in and wears beautifully, but I sometimes think when I'm wearing this, oh my god, it's fallen off. I don't feel anything on my wrist. And then I look down and it's there, obviously. It's totally fine. But that's an example of how light this watch is. 70. So before we start wrapping this video up, other positive is, for your £500, fit and finish on this watch is faultless. No fluff under the dial, no smudges, no dust, no bad polishing anywhere. These Polished sides, and the chamfering's done really nicely. Then you've got this cutout here where the strap feeds through. It's all just been executed so beautifully. Everything about a watch that is £500 is what you're getting with this one. Top notch. This is like £1,000 watch for 500 quid. Awesome. So it's one of those things where if you've got the budget, go for it. It is quite a special watch when you're wearing it, and you actually can really enjoy it because it melts on the wrist. You don't really notice it there. If you want something with wrist presence, you're going to probably want to get a bigger watch. But that defeats the object of this style. So thanks so much for watching this video. Thanks to Geckota for sending me this lovely watch. I'm actually very reluctant to send it back, so maybe it will get lost in the post.